Have you ever heard of a fort that is thousands of years old, hidden deep within dense forests, where tigers rule more than humans? This is the story of India's most mysterious fort, nestled on an 811-meter high hill, deep inside a national park. This fort is one of the oldest in India, and the history hidden within its walls is as glorious as it is enigmatic. But there's a twist. This fort opens to the public only one day a year. The rest of the year, it remains closed. And on that one day, as the first light of dawn touches the forest, a sacred atmosphere envelopes the hills. Thousands of devotees walk nearly 10 kilometers through the jungle. No vehicles, no noise, only the silence of the forest and the sound of devotion. But this is not just a fort. It's a tradition, a legacy linked to Lord Ram. And that connection makes it possibly the oldest fort in India, still standing in majestic silence. Located in Madhya Pradesh's Amaria district, inside the Bandhavgarh National Park. Many of you may know this area as a famous tiger reserve. Most tourists come here for jungle safaris, through guided vehicles with permits, hoping to spot wildlife, especially tigers. But stepping out of your vehicle and venturing into the core forest on foot is strictly prohibited, except for one day, Janmashtami. On this day, the local people walk the same jungle paths where tigers roam, a 7 to 10 kilometers uphill journey, to reach the ancient fort that very few have ever seen with their own eyes. According to historians, this fort began construction in the 3rd century CE, nearly 1800 years ago. But scriptures like the Narad Pankratna and Shiva Samhita Purana suggest it may be over 2,500 years old. Legend says that when Lord Ram returned to Ayodhya after defeating Ravana, he gifted this fort to his brother Laxman. And from then on, it came to be called Bandhavgarh. Bandhav meaning brother, and Garh meaning fort. Over the centuries, dynasties like the Kulchari, Solanki, and Bughel ruled from this fort. It was once a place of life, filled with palaces, ceremonies, and temple rituals. But in 1617, when the Bughel rulers shifted their capital to Reva, this fort was abandoned. Even today, when you reach this fort on Janmashtami, it feels as if time itself stands still. On the way, you may encounter elephants that once served in the tiger safari, now part of forest conservation. It feels like stepping into a scene from the Jungle Book. As you climb higher, history reveals itself at every turn. After about 1.5 hours of trekking, you first reach Shesh, one of Bandhavgarh's most iconic spots. Here lies a giant 11-meter-long stone sculpture of Lord Vishnu reclining on the Sheshnag, just as described in ancient texts. A small, serene pond lies beside it, reflecting forest shadows. The entire atmosphere feels divine, as if time itself has paused. This magnificent sculpture, carved in the 10th century, was created without machines, only hammer and chisel, and is so detailed, it gives you goosebumps. Climbing further, you reach a cave-like structure with stone pillars. The markings suggest it was once a stable, a resting place for horses and travelers. An hour further, you arrive at the main entrance, where a giant turtle sculpture represents Lord Vishnu's Kurm avatar. This is where the real mystery and grandeur of Bandhavgarh begins. The main highlight here is a 22-foot-tall statue of Lord Narasimha, embedded into the earth, exuding an immense sense of power. Not far from it is the Varaha avatar sculpture, when Vishnu saved the earth from the demon Hiranyaksha. The divine craftsmanship is so lifelike, it feels as if these deities breathe through the stone. It is believed that this hilltop was once the penance ground for all 10 avatars of Lord Vishnu. The intricate sculptures and natural surroundings merge into an aura of deep spirituality. A little further up, you see a Trimurti-like carving, Lord Vishnu on one side, Shiva on the other, and human figures in between. The guide explains, this represents an era when religions didn't clash, but coexisted in harmony. Elsewhere on the temple walls, You find carvings of celestial dancers, Nagakanyas, and warriors in battle, so detailed that their garments and jewelry are still clearly visible, despite being over 1,000 years old. Inside the fort is an ancient shivling, where local legends say a few hidden sages still meditate. Many pilgrims claim they've seen a white-clad figure vanish before their eyes. All this shows that the rulers here were devotees of Lord Vishnu. That's why, on every Janmashtami, a special ceremony is held. Crowds gather, yet the silence remains sacred. People visit to honor their ancestors who once lived in the now-vanished forest villages. Even the royal family of Varaha, who still claim descent from Laxman, attends the event each year. Inside the fort, you'll find 3 main temples, one recently built by Mughal descendants and 2 ancient ones. One is made entirely of sandstone, with architecture that reminds you of ancient temples from Chhattisgarh or Odisha, complete with a pyramid-like roof that leaves you stunned. It makes you wonder, how did people so long ago build something so intricate at such a height without modern tools? And then come the tales of monks' shadows seen at night, of tigers and sages appearing together. Some say the fort is haunted, but the truth? No one really knows. If you truly wish to witness India's lost history, its sacred art, and spiritual mystery, the Bandhavgarh trek is an experience of a lifetime. The oldest historical mention of Bandhavgarh Fort appears in the Bhimsen Samvat, around 300 CE, when it was under the Vakataka dynasty. Even today, inscriptions of King Bhimsen can be found in a cave within the fort. Later, the fort passed through the Sengar, Kulchari Rajputs, and finally the Mughal rulers, who ruled till 1494 CE. From 1495 to 1535, it was under the Kauravanshi kings, before returning to the Mughals, who ruled it until Indian independence. In 1617, the Mughal dynasty shifted its capital to Rewa. That's when they became known as the Maharajas of Rewa. After that, the fort gradually fell silent. The surrounding villages were abandoned, and as human activity vanished, the forest began to heal. Tigers and wildlife returned. The fort and its hills became one with the jungle again. By 1935, the last remaining families left. Yet, the royal family retained legal ownership and declared the area as their private hunting reserve, accessible only to them. Only after Indian independence did the fort and the land come under the government of India. If you want to visit Bandhavgarh Fort, your journey begins at Tala village, the main entrance to the national park. This is a small village, but it has all the basic facilities: homestays, resorts, guides. You can reach Tala from Jabalpur or Kutni via taxi or bus. Since the fort lies in the core zone of the Bandhavgarh Tiger Reserve, access is restricted on normal days. Only on Janmashtami does the Forest Department issue special permits. These are free but limited in number. You must register your name at the Tala Gate Park office a few days in advance. You must also specify if you'll trek on foot or join a local group. Only officials and the royal family are allowed vehicles. Common visitors must walk a 10-kilometer forest trail. The trek begins around 5 a.m., and you must enter before sunrise. Forest rangers ensure safety, but there's no mobile network. So pack wisely: water, snacks, flashlight, trekking shoes. It's a journey filled with thrill, wonder, and spirituality, because you are walking on tiger land, towards a mystic fort that opens just one day a year. So next time you hear the name Bandhavgarh, don't just think of a tiger safari. Think of that fort, standing silently atop a hill for thousands of years, watching time pass by, guarding stories of Ram, Laxman, sages, and tigers. If you like this story, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll return with more stories like this. Until then, Namaskar.